Episode 7.
10.
10. Right.
We're in full force tonight.
Yes. Thank God Frank is back here because that was quite the event.
That was, if you were here 2 weeks ago for the last live, Luke allowed everyone in the audience to be his bartender. And the bartender did not know when to cut Luke off.
Yep.
And from what I hear, it was a rough morning.
Yeah. I actually got to, I was going to Bowman Distillery the next day. It's actually kind of funny because we have a Bowman on the table. But I got the limited release in the lottery. I don't know if you can see it back there. And that was quite the fun drive through D.C. after you guys were my bartenders. And by quite the fun drive, I mean absolutely not the funnest drive I've ever taken in my life.
Did you get somebody else to take the wheel?
Yeah. I did have. We had a
hired
switch off.
driver.
Yeah, hired driver. I couldn't. I was not in the right mood to be doing that. But I'm alive. Everyone's alive. Bottle is safe. We survived Christmas. Hopefully, all your Christmases were good. There were some crazy drops in New Jersey during the Christmas week, a little bit after. So, and one of them is sitting on the table in front of you. So, what we're going to be doing is cash strength Buffalo Trace mash bills. We do have the Batch 3 Bowman Cast Strength, which is supposedly the Stagg Killer, the George T. Stagg Killer. So we're going to see. How's it compare to Stagg Jr. and how's it compare to Stagg Sr.? And I think what a great way to kick off the night by warming up our palates with a brand new bottle of Stagg. What do you think?
Yeah.
24B batch, 127.8 proof. It's always fun cracking these foils, you know? It just feels right. Feels like my life is complete. Hello, everybody. Hello, Tim. Hello, Gary. Just walked in from dinner. I hope it was sushi. I like sushi. There you go. His head is ripped off. Fresh crack. Love me some Stagg Jr. I think this is Gary's favorite pour. I think he really likes Stagg Jr.
Who can blame him?
Yeah, I haven't had any of the 24 batches yet, so I skipped over A. I do have an A barrel, but this is just the one I grabbed.
Yeah, so the star of the night is the Bowman. I'm sure a lot of people are either looking to get one of these, looking to see if it's worth trying to get, because they are selling like crazy. But we're warming up with the Stagg just to get us at that proof point so we can really get a good taste of this Bowman and see what's going on.
Now, I'm pretty sure I'm correct. The Bowman Cast Strength is a distillery-only Virginia release. However, somebody really messed up, and I don't know if they're still working at the distillery or not, but I believe they sent Bowman Cast Strength out to New Jersey and Las Vegas, Nevada, and they got PO'd as single barrels. So single barrel was coming into the state, and this showed up, and the stores just started freaking out. They didn't know what to do. Some people were charging $700 for it. Some people were charging $50 for it. But the average was right around $100, which was MSRP. And I got lucky enough and stumbled into a few of them. Very excited. It's just funny because it dropped literally the day I was coming home from Bowman. I got a text message from a store owner, and they were like, "I'm freaking out right now." And they sent me a picture of all these cases of Bowman Cast Strength. I'm like, "Is that like in your store?" And they were like, "Yes, this is in my store." And lo and behold, here it is. I had to have it right away. I was like, "Oh, save me one of them." This Stagg Jr. smells really nice. It smells like a really good... It doesn't smell like an earthy Stagg. It smells more like that sweeter Stagg, which I haven't had a sweeter Stagg in a while. I'm working... I almost killed a store pick Stagg Jr.
Yeah, I've seen Gary and Tim a little bit. I'd say, me and Luke, we did our Christmas gift exchange. If anybody got any nice whiskeys or whiskey-related gifts from Santa Claus, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, I was graciously gifted, and we are going to start down a journey, a rabbit hole in the future. But Mr. Frank got me 2 scotches, Balvenie from Highlands. We tried them both last night because I am impatient and couldn't wait. But they were actually pleasantly surprised because I do not like scotch, and those were actually, especially the rum cask, was really good. Not to get off topic or anything. They're talking about Italian food. So they're kind of on the same page as we are. Sweeter Stagg Jr. on the nose. Real sweet fruits. Candied apple almost, I get. That tart candied apple. Tim asked
Luke's wrapping job. If you were in on that, man, I got screwed.
Yeah, I think Tim probably knew about it considering he mentioned it. But
yeah, I think Luke got me a couple nice bottles. The nicest of which was there was a box inside a box. There were two boxes. He told me to open one first. I opened that up and unwrapped it, and it was a note that said, "Haha, you're an idiot. There's nothing in this one." Then I opened the other, and I could tell it's a bottle, and it was wrapped thick. I think he had about 15 layers of plastic and bubble wrap and tape all around this bottle because he wanted to keep it safe because it was a CYPB.
Yep.
So it was necessary.
It was necessary to make sure.
But man, was it a pain in the neck to get open.
We're not going to mention who those bubble wrappers were from because we don't want to catch any felonies for what took place. Tim said 58. Thomas Anders, cheers from mid-Michigan, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
How's the weather out there? Is it cold? Our snow finally melted here. We're getting a lot of rain, but it's going to be 65 degrees tomorrow, which is crazy for this time of year. Padded envelopes. Yes, from BJ's. BJ's padded envelopes.
I'm ready for a sip.
I'm ready for a sip. We can't do this sober. That just wouldn't make sense. Should have been here last time. Nothing made sense at the end of that video. A little warm. See, they said Italian food, and I'm doing the Italian fingers. I've been doing that a lot. I've been catching myself. Definitely feel the Kentucky hug in the chest.
Yeah.
How was the palate for you? Was it kind of light?
Yeah. Really light on the mouthfeel for the palate. Not a ton of flavor. And so I wasn't expecting so much heat on the finish. Just because that, sometimes you have Stagg, it hits you like mouthwash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're like, ooh.
Very
you get
strong.
that strong burn. First sip of the night, not a lot of burn, but a lot of heat.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. And I can never say anything about the first sip. We should just gargle with whiskey before we get on the show. But nose and palate were very different from each other. I wouldn't say it was super sweet. I would say it was actually more dry, but that's probably just neck pour proof coming in.
Yeah, it could just be the neck pour. It was pretty dry, pretty oaky.
The nose is so good though. This might be the best Stagg nose. I really like the nose on this. I don't know why. It's very Rick Housey. If you really it smells like the Rick Houses.
Yeah.
That angel share. Another sip. Another sip.
Sure, yeah.
Ready. So I feel like our palates are warmed up enough. Not trying to rush your Stagg, but I'm very excited to get to the middle bottle. It's warm. It's definitely warm. There is some complex, I would say almost oaky notes. Getting that kind of woody feel. I don't know. Not too much flavor. I mean, it tastes like good barrel proof whiskey, obviously, but
yeah, it's I don't know. It's nice, but normally Stagg delivers a little more flavor.
Yeah. This is coming because our last bottle of Stag we've been drinking is a store pick. I think you have a 22A at your house, which that one's really good. But this is just I don't know. I hope it's just a neck pour, but this batch is falling a little flat for me.
Yeah, it's the I'm I'm just really not getting a lot of sweetness from it.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is weird
what
because I
what
get it
there
on the
is
nose.
very faint, but it's mostly dry oak, maybe a little bit of a nuttiness to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see the nuttiness.
But even that's not like a crazy strong. Like it's there, but it's not like a Jim Beam nuttiness.
Yeah. It's more of like a walnut. I don't know. Walnutty, Brazil nutty. Thomas from Michigan said he finally found a Stag for MSRP, and it was bundled with 4 other bottles that he wanted anyway.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I
right.
was
Right away
worried
you go,
at first.
right,
I
because
heard bundled
you
with
get the
4
shit
others.
bottles bundle, but if you got good bottles in the bundle, hey, that works. Yeah, this bottle I actually got from uh, some liquor store in New Jersey. I forget the name of it, but I walked in and they had it listed for $220. I'm like, I don't know, I can't do that. And then I was talking with the guy. He's like, well, I've seen you in here before, and we like to bargain with our normal customers. So he's like, would you take it for 115? And I'm like, I'll take 2 for 115. He's like, sure, you can have 2. And he's like, I also have this, and he pulled out an Elmer T. Lee. He's like, you want this? $100. I'm like, why not? Throw it in. So it worked out that time. Stag's funny, man. It's like secondaries now is like dropped to like 170-ish, but stores are still selling it sometimes for like 250, 300, and that's
really,
crazy
yeah.
to me. I'd pay 250, 300 for this bottle any day of the week.
I think anyone would.
Yeah, this bottle, I don't know. We'll see. I think they're bottling this a little too soon. I think the older batches had a little more age on them. But that's my opinion. Hello, everybody who's new watching.
You can enjoy that last little morsel if you wanted.
No, he's getting washed down. Because I'm so excited for this next pour, the moment we've all been waiting for. A. Smith Bowman cask strength.
And I do, it's a shame with this particular bottle because we thought, I said to Luke, we'll start with the Stagg and we'll see if this is the Stagg killer. I don't think it's going to have a hard time.
I don't think it's going to have a hard time
after this particular bottle of Stagg. It's okay. It's still Stagg, but it just does not. Normally that proof comes with a bit more mouthfeel and a bit more vanilla sweetness, or at least any sweetness. Cherry or something.
Much on this one.
It was pretty light.
Maybe our palates are so accustomed to single malt Scotch now that we don't like bourbon anymore.
Oh no!
Could you imagine?
Anything over 100 proof, we're like,
Can't
I don't know. I don't see the flavor.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
That's probably the biggest mindset for Scotch is like, you gotta. That's like, we've been watching cartoons and movies, and Scotch is like the black and white art film from some French guy.
Yeah.
You gotta really dig in for the notes. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely gonna be a road. We'll see how it is. Anyway, here we go. A. Smith Bowman cask strength Virginia distillery. Love their distillery. I've really been getting into their stuff lately. There's actually a bottle of small batch upstairs that is actually way better than I remember. Like the one time we got it, we're like, oh, this kind of stinks. The one I have upstairs is actually really good. So maybe maybe we'll kick into that. Maybe we just had a bad bottle or something. It does happen. Hopefully this is easy for me. The thing about batch 3, I mean, who's going to complain that much? That's trash. That's going to go over there. This is 135.1 proof at 9 years old. Now, batch 1 and 2 were both hazmats. Batch 2, I believe, being 144 proof.
Wow.
And over 10 years. So, is this testament to people trying to cheap out and giving less proof and less age on whiskey? Or is this just what the distiller felt was the best of the best for the year? This is the 2023 release. It was late coming out. So, here it is. Let's see how this is. I'm very excited.
Nice cork.
Come on, Tim. That was a nice one. Let's see if I can do it again. Usually the second one's never as good. No, first one was way better. Oh my God, this smells real. Look, there's even smoke in there. You see that? This is some strong shit. Here we go. This is definitely the highlight of the video. Nose that, man. I just nosed the cork and I'm like, man, that smells freaking delicious. Maybe that's a little more. That pop makes me want a bottle, and the FOMO begins. Hopefully, there'll be more around. I think a lot of it's dried up, unfortunately. Change his opinion about Bowman. Yeah, Tim's not the biggest Bowman fan. My God. Wow, that nose is freaking awesome. Dark brown sugars. Right, you getting that big brown sugar note?
Yeah. It's very, very yummy.
Holy mackerel. I'm happy I found a couple of these. Whew, just sweetness. Chocolates.
It's so on that like chocolatey brown sugar.
Oh, it's going to be so chewable. This is very cola. I can see a cola note in there. This is very, very similar to, from what I remember, Mr. George T. Stagg's nose.
I feel like I get a bit of like a cinnamon spice.
Cinnamon. I was going to say baking spice. I guess I would fall
feel
under
like
baking spice.
It smells like I'm baking cookies.
Yep. Ooh, wow. And right nostril. This smells so good. Wow. Well, I don't want to keep them waiting. But this is one I can sit here and nose all night long. Here it is. A. Smith Bowman cast strength. Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Thank you, Virginia. And thank you for whoever messed up and sent it up our way. Cheers. Holy cow. That is awesome. Man.
Yeah, that delivered.
That is really good. It's like unbelievably good. Oh my God, the nose just carried through the palate. The finish is so intense.
It's so chewy.
So chewable. Oh my God, my mouth just feels like if you play sports, if you have a mouth guard in, it feels like I have a mouth guard of whiskey in my mouth. Oh my God. So oily, and that is insane. The chocolate notes in it, it's just unbelievable.
It's so candied.
That's so good. Oh, that's so awesome. I can't even I'm like, it's one of those whiskeys where it's happened a few times on this channel, and the last time it happened was with this bottle right here, but I'm a loss for words. Just so many flavors.
Right?
Oh God, the finish is still going. The finish feels like I just took the sip. Like, it's insane. Roof of your mouth.
Yeah, so I mean, we talk about with some of these bottles like the mouthfeel. Yeah, when this is the mouthfeel you want from a high proof whiskey, it just coats everything, and then that flavor sticks around so long.
Dude, I'm like smiling. I can't help it. It's so good. It's like I can't stop smiling. Tim says, "Here comes the FOMO." Oh yeah, FOMO. I knew this was going to be a bottle that I really, really wanted. Go back to the nose, man. Just go back to that nose. Second,
is this all Bowman's own mash? Do you know?
They
right, because I know sometimes with Bowman they say that it's like Buffalo Trace mash,
I think it's what happens is they get the distillate shipped in from Buffalo Trace, and then they redistill it through their still.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Um, so they can call it their own juice. So it is Buffalo Trace's recipe. My wife and I were at a raffle last month, and those George T. Staggs were 900. 900 for a raffle? Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's pretty
900
crazy.
and you only have a chance to buy it for 900?
Glad we didn't win anything. Win in quotes.
We've been to some raffles like that.
Listen, I don't want to be mean to anybody, but I'm happy I don't live in Michigan. I'm sure it's a beautiful state, don't get me wrong. They call it the oven mitt, right? Is that Michigan?
I would have said the mitten.
The mitten, yeah, that one. The mitten.
I mean, I guess it's pretty. They're both mitts.
Yeah. Oh my god. You made me open one of my John J. Bowman single barrel bottles. I can't wait to find one of those. Joseph Powell. Yeah, Joseph, this is freaking awesome. And the single barrel was like one of my favorites. And this is like, it takes single barrel to like here to like, you can't even see it on screen. Secondary on this bottle is $3.50.
That I would wait till a second sip, but that's definitely
I don't know, man.
that might be worth it.
For once, I might be able to say that secondary is worth it. Let's find out on the second sip. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's insane. That is S tier bourbon right there. I don't need anything else in the rest of my life. I'm going to trade away the rest of my collection for that bottle.
It's like it's put my brain on haywire.
Right?
I've never had a whiskey with so many notes where every single one of them is sweet
and delicious.
Like, how am I getting? I feel like I'm getting chocolate and brown sugar and maple syrup.
Yeah, maple syrup.
And
that's
like
great.
Hard candies,
caramels, and where are those originals? I forgot to get you this for Christmas.
That's just gonna be a thing. I'll just never have.
You'll
them.
never have them. Wow, that's just an insane bottle of whiskey.
I don't know if this has the reach to our Michigan viewers, but here in PA we have Hershey Park and Hershey's Chocolate World. And between the nose and the palate, it just feels like, again, like it just is such, for me, like so many different candies.
I'm like so taken away by this whiskey. Like, I swear to God, this might be my best whiskey of all time. And I'm like, it's not like, I don't know. It's really, really, like you said, just hitting everything. There's nothing wrong with this whatsoever. Right? There's nothing wrong with it. I can find nothing wrong with this bottle.
Yeah, it's so often there's usually
something.
And it's not even necessarily something wrong with it, but there's usually some note other than sweet. Whereas this, like, maybe there's the slightest hint of an oak. But I feel like even what there is, it's a sweet oak. Like, it's overwhelming how sugary it tastes.
And, you know, the Bowman cast strength, like last year, or 2022's was 144 proof. This 135 proof for me is like, it's awesome. I don't know if I'd want to go any higher.
It could be because it's the second pour, but for me, less heat than the Stagg.
Oh yeah, easily, and that it's 7-8 proof points higher than the Stagg, which tells me that Stagg is aged less than 9 years. I'm just saying. I don't know what it is, but wow, I don't want to finish the glass. I really don't.
You know, Luke had a couple ideas of of what to drink tonight. And I thought with this one, I know that this is new, and I think a lot of people will want to know about it. But I also thought some of the other stuff seemed a little crazy, and I thought, New Year's Eve is coming up. Things are going to get wild. I don't want him to accidentally drink too much of something he wants to save. And in that regard, I may have made a mistake.
Right?
Because I can see you, 4 or 5 pours in, just being like, you know what, I'm gonna have some Bowman, and
Yeah.
then having that and thinking, you know what, finish my. I'm gonna have a bit more.
Yeah.
Just pouring it for everybody. You gotta taste how good this is.
Oh, well, I'll
Oh
tell you.
man, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to lock that away.
I know. Right? I have to. It's like hand someone the keys. I'm gonna have to hand someone the
Yeah.
bottle of Bowman.
I'll take it.
I got a text message here from my buddy. He says, "Which George C. Stagg is this?" It's 2020. It's 2023. Keith, 2023. He just texted me. I guess he can't figure out the chat. Keith, if you're watching, make sure you're signed into your Google account. Then you can actually chat with us. Oh, Jeff's here. I'm just signing in. Sippin' Stagg. Jealous. All right. That sounds like a lot of people are sipping Stagg tonight. That's great. It's always fun to have people getting in on the action, but this is we came into this video. We always have our little pre-show chat on what we're going to talk about. We came into this video. Me and Frank both said, I think it's quite obvious that George T. Stagg is going to win this. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Because from sipping this, I would say it definitely, at the very least, puts a challenge to some of the better Stagg batches and picks that we've had, I think.
And this is, I think this, 135 proof, 135.1. So it don't get much closer than that. Well, what do you think? Are you ready to say goodbye to Mr. Bowman?
Yes, I
Frank's
am.
like, I don't know when I'll get to drink it again. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Find this bottle. Wow. Wow. Jeff said high octane. It is high octane, but you know what? It's so rich in flavor, you almost don't even know it. Like, it's warm, right? But it's so full flavor. I don't even notice it that much.
It is. This is, like I was just saying about the Scotch being subtle. This is anything but subtle. There could not be a worse adjective.
Yeah.
This is like, sometimes you give somebody a whiskey, and if they're a bit newer to it, you're like, oh, I don't know if they're going to appreciate all the delicate little notes and pairings and combinations. This is like, I don't see how anybody could, unless, other than the proof, just not being experienced with proof, if you taste that flavor, I mean, that's just, I mean, it's like a smoothie or a milkshake.
It is.
It's just so scrumptious.
An empty glass. I always like to let it dry out my glass before you rinse. Smell that empty glass. Oh my God, so good. Jeff asked how it compares to Stagg Junior. It does not compare at all, Jeff. This at least this batch of Stagg Junior. It
yeah, I would. That's the only thing I would hazard is potentially a store pick Stagg could be almost as good. A store pick Stagg would come close. This is like a godsend store pick.
So good. There's like a little bit left. I'm like trying to get every bit out. And Mr. Thomas said he would never find it in Michigan for any price. Yeah. I mean, really, I'm being completely honest with you. This is Virginia only. It was supposed to be, and it escaped Virginia. Thank God. Thank God.
Right? But I mean, I guess you figure if Bowman can keep making stuff like this, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't very soon and very quickly go well beyond just Virginia
Yeah.
and start making their way out west.
Thomas asked, how much was the John J. Bowman, if he may ask? Um, well, this is actually, I have to correct you because we are acknowledging the people. This is A. Smith Bowman. John J. Bowman is the single barrel. John J. Bowman we can usually get for around $55 to $60 around us. This I got for $109.99, so $110 for this bottle. How do you feel about that price? $110 for that?
Easy buy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Buy every single one they have on the shelf at that price.
Right, even 100. Right, just the same thought. 110 for a Stagg store pick. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
This being a bit better than that.
I'm gonna have to text.
If
some
I knew
people.
that, if for this specific batch, if I know I'm gonna get that flavor, I'm a stingy son of a bitch. But 200 sounds pretty fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I may have to hopefully find another one of these soon. You can never have too many of these. I will back that up and back it up and back it up again. Of course, we're left with one bottle on the bar.
Yes, after that much praise.
After that much praise.
Does it enter the ranks of the elite?
The Elite Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. For anybody here, we are about to drink George T. Stagg. And you know what? It's probably the last time we'll drink this in 2024. Well, who knows? New Year's can get crazy.
Right.
New Year's, a lot of bottles come
really
out.
pushed for it, but since we're drinking it now, you know.
Hey, New Year's is New Year's. If you want to come to my New Year's party. Oh, Keith's here. ASB is all over Jersey for $500 right now. Worth it? A. Smith Bowman, not at $500.
Yeah,
Keith.
5 is a bit.
That's
much.
steep. My max I would pay, having that now, and this is full transparency, honesty, what I would pay for A. Smith Bowman, I would go 3. I would pay $300 for that bottle. I really would. If I found it sitting for $300, like if I went out tomorrow, even though I have 2 of them, if I went out tomorrow and I went into Libby's Liquors and they had it sitting on the shelf for $300, I would buy it still because that it's incredible. It's really slipped through the cracks of the whiskey world, I feel. And A. Smith Bowman, you heard it here first, people. Although Fred Minnick just did his top 100. I don't think it was on it, though, because, again, that's not a 2024 release. It's 2023. Fred Minnick's top 100, this ranked number 3. Number 1 was Russell's Reserve 15-year. Number 2 was, I think, a Nashville Barrel Company. I could be wrong, though. And then this was number 3. Let's see how this compares to A. Smith Bowman. No cork top on that one.
Well, it's been open a while.
It's been open a while. Yeah.
And that, you can tell how much we like the Stagg.
Right.
That is going.
It's going quick.
That might be. You've almost got it down to the same level as the Pappy 12.
Yeah.
Pappy 12 we've had
Since
is
2022.
this like 2 years now?
Yeah, 2022 we got that.
Now, to be fair, the Pappy 12, you probably we share the 12-year,
We do.
so he probably feels like, you know, Pappy 12, I can't drink that without Frank.
Never.
George T. Stagg.
Yeah, George T. Stagg, he's my
That's
baby.
fair game.
That's fair game. You know, it's like the best thing in the world. Not trying to brag or anything, but you have a bad day at work and you come home and you're like, it's like 4 o'clock on a Tuesday and you had a real bad day. You're like, I'm gonna have some George T. Stagg before I even have any dinner. Screw it.
Well, that's, you know, everybody, right? Mine's a little more like my own collection is more like a regular Stagg Junior, but everybody's got that nice bottle that you treat yourself to every once in a while.
All right, I already got a nose of this. I can already tell it's actually a little darker in color, as expected. I think Stagg is 15 years old versus the 9, so I'm expecting to get sweeter oak notes on it, which I do. It's a completely different nose. It actually makes the Bowman smell young, but not in a bad way. I'm getting more.
Yeah, I do think my prediction would be that Bowman is bam in your face, so much flavor. I think this is going to have a lot more layers.
Yeah. Keith, Keith, if you're still here, let us know what you thought of the 2024 George T. Stagg in the comments. I got a phone call from Keith, and anytime I get a phone call from anybody, I know it's serious, right? Because I don't get phone calls. So either someone's really hurt, really dead, or there's a really good whiskey out there. Keith called me, and no one died, and no one got hurt. A lot of mixed
feelings.
A lot of mixed feelings. Yeah, a lot of mixed feelings. GTS is a party for sure. Can't get in Nashville for major money. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much anywhere. Unless you get lucky. I mean, there's a raffle coming up in Pennsylvania, and probably, not that I know anything, but probably February. And they'll sell it for MSRP, but you got 50,000 people entering a lottery for 200 bottles.
One day.
Would
you rather win that or the Mega Millions?
Mega Millions. Yeah, which didn't happen either.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Would you rather have a George T. Stagg for $100 or $1 billion? $1
billion, and I say George T. Stagg.
You get the billion. Who cares how much you pay for the GTS?
Yeah. This is Baxter, by the way, everybody. I got him for Christmas, and he's the new mascot of Whiskey Bible. He's a very bad boy, though.
Yeah, look at that. He's smoking.
He's smoking.
He's only 18 in dog years.
And he's, look, somewhere on here. Yeah, look, he's drinking whiskey, but he's drinking it out of a rocks glass.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's got human hands. So yes, I have a were golden retriever on my shirt. Werewolves are real.
That's our other podcast.
Yeah, that's our other podcast. Good luck finding that one. We keep that one a secret. But, well, the nose. Okay, let's get to a review. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Nose is definitely, you can definitely smell more age on this one, right? There's more of the wood sugars, if you will. You know, it's got more of a red amber hue to it. It's definitely darker. I don't know. I'm very interested to see how it's gonna.
I am still.
Match up.
I get more of a cherry and oak from this one, but I feel like I'm getting a bit of bleed over from the Bowman nose.
Yep. Cherry cola, I would say. Tim, I have to shout out Tim in this video because he said loves me some George T. Stagg. George T. Stagg is so good for anybody who's not had it. Mr. Tim came over here for some pours. It's good to be a friend of the Whiskey Bible. He came over here for some pours, and I poured him some George T. Stagg. And I believe it was the very next day, he texted me, and he's like, I just got a George T. Stagg. I think he, I don't think he got it for MSRP, but I think he got a really good deal on it. And it's just, it happens, right? You try it, and that FOMO hits you, just like that FOMO is probably hitting everybody on this channel for that Bowman cast strength right now. It smells really good. You know, there's some kind of note. And this is going to be a funny note. I want you to picture this. So anybody who's viewing right now, we're going to have some fun. Anybody who's viewing, Frank, you don't have to do this.
Okay.
Close your eyes. I'll give you a minute to close your eyes and grab whatever whiskey glass you're drinking right now and smell it. I don't know what you're smelling, but smell it anyway. Close your eyes and smell it. And I want you to picture like a bourbon.
So many things you can tell the picture.
Yeah, I want you to picture like a bourbon bubble gum, right? Like you're chewing gum and it's like whiskey flavored. I don't know. It's just got that like chewy smell to it. Chewy whiskey bubble gum. Little Old Fashioned, cheers. If you're not subscribed to him or checking him out, go check him out. He's got some great stuff. But yeah, that bourbon bubble gum. Raise your hand if you close your eyes. If you listen to Luke, raise your hand. Bonus points if you did. Well, George T. Stagg. I can't keep smelling this. We got to drink some George T. Stagg. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever you do. Cheers. This is awesome. However, there is a note that I don't particularly like in a whiskey that I do get from the George T. Stagg that I don't get from A. Smith Bowman. Can you pick up on what that note is? I'm curious if we're thinking the same thing. There's a hint of it in there.
No, I don't know.
I'm getting a bit of a limestone note from it, a bit of a moss. It's not extreme, but if I'm being really picky, I can definitely pick that out of the whiskey. And that's, I always attest to Willet. Willet is very limestoney. This is nowhere as near limestoney. But the Bowman didn't have that at all. This has a slight hint of it.
Yeah, I see it on the finish a bit.
But I mean, it's great, right? Maybe that's just coming with the extra age.
Well, if anything, it might just be the water.
The water.
Right? I mean, Kentucky versus Virginia.
Right, but I think it's the same mash, though. That's the interesting thing, right? That's where I get baffled from, right? Like the Bowman is Buffalo Trace mash shipped and just re-distilled. Maybe that extra still process in Virginia through George and Mary. I don't know. There's something different about it. I mean, it's great. It's great. I'm not bashing George T. Stagg. Don't come and haunt me, Mr. Stagg. But if you do come and haunt me, at least make it worth it and bring me some bottles while you're haunting me. You can.
I don't think that's how haunting works.
I don't know, but I'll tell you right now, you can haunt the shit out of me if you're going to bring me George T. Stagg, right? Would you mind getting haunted if he's bringing you bottles of George T. Stagg?
Again, I'm not going to agree to anything. Otherworldly spirits haunt him, not me. I don't need that in my life. I'll take the George T. Stagg I can get without being haunted.
Yeah. Keith just got back to us about the question I asked him. Minnick ranked a 2024 GTS number 3. You need to open yours and compare it to the 2023. Just saying the 2024 GTS is better than the 2023. Yes. That's what he called me about, was to tell me how good the 2024 GTS was. And I do have a bottle of 2024 GTS, and it will definitely be getting opened at some point. I have a lot of great bottles open right now. It's we'll see when it gets open. We'll see. We got a lot of
GTS.
Yeah, GTS. GTS. No, yeah, right. My chair doesn't turn that far. I'm sorry, Keith. I really am. We're getting a lot of comments flooding in here. This is a lot of fun. Thomas getting a Coy Hill and an EHR single barrel tomorrow for MSRP with an 8-bottle bundle. That's really cool. Coy Hill, I heard, was really, really good this year. And EHR single barrel, one of my favorites of all time. Always is. Great sipping bottle. At one point, that was my number 1 of all time. It's an awesome bottle. Also, if you see it up here, I don't know if you can see it. No, it's covered by the Santa hat. But right next to the Booker's Reserve up there, behind the Van Winkle 12-year Lot B, there is a bottle of EHR single barrel. And that's because that was the first bottle I ever purchased when I turned 21. What a cool bottle, right? To get when you turn 21. I did work at a liquor store at some point, and I definitely got helped out with getting that bottle. But yeah, that bottle will never be open. It never will be. It will sit up there forever and ever and ever, just because it has that much sentimental value to me. Gary commented, JTP. Do you know what that means? You stayed in school longer than me. What's JTP mean?
I only know it as a reference from the TV show The Goldbergs, the Jenkintown Posse.
Okay.
I would find it very surprising if that's what he's...
That's what he's talking about?
It seems more likely that he just mistyped GTS.
Right.
It's probably a typo.
Tim says, I'm just here for the FOMO. He says, do it.
From the Goldbergs. Look at that.
Wow, look at that. You see that? That is a smart human being sitting next to me right here. Yes, Frank! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I think he's trying to say that you get a victory pour.
GTS.
GTS! GTS! No, my chair don't turn that far again. Oh, shit. Maybe it would turn. You know what? It actually would turn this way. But there's too much Old Forester birthday bourbon in the way. I can't get to it.
I'll settle.
All right. Hey. of the 2024, it rhymes. Ready for a second sip.
Yeah.
Cheers. Man, it's so close. It's so close. So different. It's a great bottle of whiskey. It's a great bottle of whiskey. Oh, I just keep trying. Wow. Again, it's just the age. If this is going to win in this 3-bottle set, it's going to be because of the age. I'm definitely getting that more leathery tobacco oaky notes, which I do enjoy. The chocolate's falling a little short. The chocolate's there, but it's nowhere near the Bowman. And that limestone is just pushing through a little bit for me, which just takes away from the experience is great, right? But anytime I taste that limestone, all I can do is think about that limestone. And that might dock some points from this whiskey for me. Not that it's a bad thing. It's going to lose some points for that.
Yeah, I definitely get the limestone more on that, probably because I was looking for it more. It is there. For me, I don't. Even with the Willet, I was more tolerant of the limestone than you. That's what specifically with Willet, we're talking Rowan's Creek.
Oof. Yeah, that's
So,
grass.
that was moss. I think the first time we said it, I pretty much said it tastes like poop.
Yeah. Tastes like elephant poop. That was the words you used.
Yeah. This is not that. This is nice. I will. It's a lot of nice flavors. That A. Smith Bowman had a lot of nice flavors. And
a lot of nice flavors.
This has nice mouthfeel. Bowman had mouthfeel.
Mouth chewability.
Turn it to 11, you know. This is like a 7 or 8 on the mouthfeel. Like, it's there, it lingers, the taste sticks around. Bowman was like, all my teeth fell out and were replaced with whiskey.
Yeah, which was a good thing, right? My teeth can fall out for that whiskey. Here's something very interesting, right? This comes from the culture from around the United States. I've never heard of what was just said in the comments, but it sounds freaking delicious. Mr. Jeff from Tennessee said, Willet is what we use for bourbon cake.
Bourbon cake?
Bourbon cake. Jeff, you know our email. Shoot us an email because that sounds awesome. Bourbon cake?
Yeah, if you got a bourbon cake recipe.
Wow. That'll be an interesting video we bake for the whiskey podcast.
Oh man.
We bake a cake.
I think we could try the cake. I don't know, the baking process might be chaotic.
Yeah, it would be crazy. Yeah, we'll leave that we'll definitely try to get. We don't sip it. I will send recipe. It is awesome.
We don't sip it. I would hope you don't sip the cake.
Right?
That's a weird cake.
Right?
Just the batter. Oh.
That sounds awesome, though, and I can't wait to make it. And I will definitely, if you send me the recipe, that will definitely be made within a week.
Yeah, I actually would, and if it's okay to share it.
Yeah.
You know, on the channel.
Yeah, unless it's a secret recipe.
Cool.
You know, you can let us know in the email you send us if it's secret or not. You don't have to put it in the comments.
Shut down some local Tennessee bakery.
Right.
just give away the recipe. Yeah, I know we had all kinds of little like bourbon chocolates.
Whiskey
that they
balls,
sell around,
yeah,
like bourbon cream balls,
bourbon balls,
something like that.
Yeah, there we go.
Those are nice. Everybody I gave them to was like, oh, it tastes like whiskey. I was like, I don't like it barely comes through for me.
No.
So, hopefully the cake gets a better response from non-whiskey lovers, but for me it sounds delicious. Oh man. I'm gonna go to sleep thinking about that now.
Right? He says we can share it. right? Like this whiskey, like I could go for some whiskey cake, and like that just sounds like the
Right?
bomb.
I'm thinking try and make that for like New Year's.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. New Year's for the New Year's party. Sounds awesome. I got a big kitchen, Frank. Come over and bake a whiskey cake with me.
You're gonna have me eating so much cake.
We're just gonna be like shoving it
Already
in.
drinking too much whiskey.
Right?
I'm gonna be eating cake with whiskey in it.
Screw it.
My doctor's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Cheers to that. It's the holidays.
It doesn't.
You don't gain weight.
No, you don't gain weight during the holidays. I'm gonna kill this on this sip, by the way, Frank. You might have a little more.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see how I feel.
Mine's definitely killable. It's good. It's a good bottle of whiskey. I don't want to drink any water yet. Definitely worse. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I hate to be an asshole. Who puts a Virginia whiskey? I don't know.
I'll go ahead and do it for you. George T. Stagg is George T. Stagg. And if I had the chance to have this in my collection, I probably would. But if I was at a bar and you had George T. Stagg and A. Smith Bowman at the same price for a 2-ounce pour, I think I'd take the Bowman. Now that's also considering the fact that I've had George T. Stagg.
Yeah.
Right, I've had them both. But purely on which I enjoyed more, I might have to give it to the Bowman. And there's plenty more, the George T. Stagg, it definitely has that age to it, and it's a lot more rare, and there's so many, the story behind it and everything, there's a lot of lore to the George T. Stagg. But at least for tonight, I think I might give it to the Bowman. I'd be really interested to see if my opinion changes in a blind. And that's almost what I'm thinking is I really do believe if I didn't know this was George T. Stagg, I'd probably pick the Bowman.
Yeah.
Because that's the only, really, really amazing pour. But I just feel bad saying that the Bowman is better than George T. Stagg because it's BTAC, because it's, how do you say that's
It's better than
some crap from
collection.
Virginia is better than
Right.
BTAC?
That's
Tonight, for me, it is.
Yeah, no, Frank, I am in the same boat as you. I feel like, honestly, and I may get some hate for this, I almost feel like it wasn't even close. I really feel like that Bowman cast strength completely blew away George T. Stagg. And for me to say that, I am the biggest Tater Buffalo Trace. I'm known by some of my friends as King Tater.
Darth Tater.
Darth Tater, that's a good one. As much as I like my Buffalo Trace products, I swear this is better than the George T. Stagg. And by a good bit. And this has been open for a little while, and this is fresh pour, but I don't know. The flavors of that Bowman was just insanely good. And I really went into this, right? You go into this thing and you're like, oh, George T. Stagg, nothing can beat that. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we had this whole meeting beforehand, and we're like, there's no way that this is going to beat this. There's no possible way. And here we are. It did. It did. And it's such a great surprise to be able to do that. I think a blind would be really fun, like you said, to do with this.
Yeah. That's how I trick you into it. I get some crazy stuff. Because for me, the Bowman is great. I don't think it hits Pappy.
Yeah. Yeah, Pappy would be... should we do it? No. We're not doing that right now.
Another day.
Yeah, Pappy is one thing, right? Like, I really like my wheated bourbons, but if I'm going just straight for the 51% corn bourbon whiskeys. I have to give it by Bowman. Like if I were to rate him on a 10-point scale, this would get the perfect 10, which is hard for me to do. If you look in our old whiskey scribe books, I would very rarely give anything a 10. This was a perfect 10 for me. This is an this is 0.9 to a 9. Right? 9 being max. This was like a 7. 7.5. 7.5. So 10, 9, 7.5. And a 10 to a 9 for me is like a huge amount of difference. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. The Bowman was just insane. Jeff is asking what the Bowman cost. It was $110, $109.99. That's what I paid. Secondary is like $350. I would pay $300 for this bottle all day long, and that's not even me. Like, I swear to God, I'm not drunk right now. Not like the last video. That's like my full honest opinion what this bottle is worth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did having the George T. Stagg, did that change your price point?
No.
Would you pay more for it, knowing that you think it's better than GTS?
I would pay $300 for the A. Smith Bowman. Will I trade my backup GTSs for this?
Like I said, it's the name.
It's the name, right? It's the name and having it on the shelf and having a few GTSs versus having a few Bowmans. You know, there's just that tater mentality, right? Although this is better whiskey, I think I would rather have the George T. Stagg, just the name. You know, there's something about my BTAC shelf, which it's behind me. I don't know if you can see it.
And then it's also us, you know, I think it's the fame as a whiskey, and then also the fame as a whiskey maker. Yeah. You know, so many of the people who worked at Buffalo Trace, there's such interesting stories and all these different things, all these ideas that they had and their different habits and all the things they invented. The George T. Stagg, I mean, it's a great whiskey, but some of these bottles, to me, a little bit, it feels like your own little slice of bourbon history.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, it's a conversation piece too, and you can talk about old George, and how he took over the distillery and all these different things if you know about him.
Yeah. There's a whole storyline. Jess says your stash behind you is worth more than my car.
Maybe unopened, probably.
Yeah.
With some of it open. Maybe not what you can see. Depends on what car you're driving.
There's a few off camera. You might be able to see it in this upper kind of corner right here. I don't know what you can see. What's in view?
There's a few. I'll tell you what. I don't think there's a single direction I can look in this room right now where I don't see a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, that's honestly completely true.
You know, maybe if you took these off the bar and I looked this way.
Right,
but then I'm looking at beer.
Right, then you're looking at taps of beer, and I mean there is a.
You did used to have more whiskey over there too.
Yeah, but it got replaced with important things that we did yesterday. But yeah, there's whiskey here, right? Because I had to clear off the bar, obviously, for the video.
Whiskey. And behind us,
whiskey. Look at this. This is crazy.
Some people would call it a problem.
This is nuts. I have to talk about this. I'm sorry, I just saw it. So I don't know if you ever heard of Southern Spirits. By the way, I think we concluded this part. This is the best. This is the second best. This is the third best. If you ever heard of Southern Spirits in South Carolina, they do a thing with a lockbox, right? Where you got to guess a 4-digit code to get a whiskey bottle inside the box, right? And if you get it for MSRP. Well, a liquor store by us does the same thing. Joe Canals, Lawrenceville, Tony Carver, the Whiskey Fairy, the one and only. She's the best. She does the same thing, and she runs a box. And just before Christmas, she put a specific bottle in the box. And I was like, I really want that bottle. And within 5 guesses, ladies and gentlemen, I was able to guess the code, and I got a bottle of Old Rip Van Winkle Tenor. Look at that. Beautiful bottle. I couldn't believe it, right? It was like 5 guesses. I guess all the major ones, you know, the ones that I think in my head that it could be. And it just happened to be that the year the store opened, 2001. And my father was with me, who's also into whiskey. And he's like, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? And I'm going over, and he's like, there's no way it's 2001. That was during the World Trade Center. There's no way that would be the number. And I'm like, screw it, I'm trying it. And I put it in, and sure enough, all of a sudden, all these bells open, like went off, and the door opened. And I grabbed this bottle, and I held it up in the air like this, and I went, whoa! And everybody like ducked, because I guess they thought I was like ready to shoot up the store or something. But nope, I just got a bottle of Old Rip 10 year, which I was really hunting. I was excited to get. Off topic, but I just saw it and I had to mention it. Because I think that's a cool story. I think that's a lot of fun. But, well, what do you think? Great bottles of whiskey tonight.
Yeah, it was a really great lineup. I really want to try that Bowman again in a blind.
Yeah.
I'd be interested. I mean, to be fair, I generally like Bowman, but this is above and beyond miles better than anything else I've had, and I really like their stuff, but this is crazy good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is quite fantastic. Frank, any of those bottles yours behind me?
I have joint custody of Pappy 12. I have my own smaller collection at home, but I think that's really the only one. Maybe there's an Elmer T. Lee lying around here somewhere that I technically, but I don't even.
Yeah, he's down there.
You can throw him to the orphanage.
There's an Evan Williams 12 year down there.
Yeah. There might be a couple that we split, but anything that's like that I just bought for me is at my house.
Yeah.
I'd bring over a bottle or two for the after show.
Yes, the after show's a lot of fun. You know, we invite people to the after show, but they never come, and I don't understand. But you know, whatever. Hey, whatever. Jeff, you want to fly in from Tennessee? Come on over to the after show, buddy. You can do it. We'd accept you into the Whiskey Bible Kingdom. But yeah, hey, that concludes that. A. Smith Bowman Cast Strength was freaking delicious. George C. Stagg was very, very good. Stagg Jr. 24B fell a little flat. You know, it is what it is. But that's great. He says I might take you up on that. I forget he's a pilot.
Right, I was going to say, isn't he a pilot?
Right? All of a sudden, right, he flies into Philadelphia,
he's
right?
Like, yeah, I'll take that job.
Right? Yeah, he has a layover in Philadelphia for 2 nights, and he's like, well, they're going to give me a hotel room for free, or I can go and stay at the Whiskey Bible Emporium.
I don't know if you're offering it. I wouldn't offer a stay.
I wouldn't offer a stay, yeah.
You don't want to stay. You're sleeping on the floor of the couch.
I got a nice air mattress. I do, okay. But hey. Right out. But hey, if you want to come over and have some pours with me, Jeff, you're
He's calling up. He's scheduling his flights for the new year.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'll take that one to Philadelphia.
Yeah. Hey, there is a New Year's party. There is a New Year's party. And anybody who's here who knows where I live, if you're watching this, by the way, you're invited to the New Year's party. He says I may not recover from that. Yeah, it's a pretty hard recovery. We're not mentioning that in this video. But anyway, thanks for everybody for joining in episode 10.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it right. Holy crap. Episode 10 of the Whiskey Bible Podcast. This was an awesome experience. I think one of the best videos we actually had to date. It was a lot of fun. Drank a lot of great whiskey. And you know what? I'm honestly gearing more towards what you said. And I think next week we might purposely have to have some bad whiskeys.
Oh, okay.
A little hint towards next week. What do you think about that? That could be fun.
That's been my big idea for a while.
We'll stay tuned for...
Painful for us, but hopefully it's for science.
Yes, which means we got to go out and buy a certain bottle.
Oh, no.
By then. You know what bottle it is. We mentioned it in this video. But anyway, thanks for everybody who joined in. It was a lot of fun. Without further ado, I'm Luke.
I'm Frank.
This is Whiskey Bible. Please remember to stay in school. Here comes the fun part. Just me and you guys. So long. Yes.